Welcome back to the cryptowrld channel, everyone. My name is Josh, and right now, Bitcoin is still running into this short-term resistance alongside Ethereum here in the short term. But while this is happening, Bitcoin is still playing out this active breakout from this giant bullish pattern on the larger time frames, which I'll talk about in just a moment. So definitely stick around. First of all, just giving you a really quick update here on the weekly Bitcoin chart, and right now the price of Bitcoin is once again still running into that major area of resistance in between around 36k to 38k. But technically speaking, even though we're still running into that area of resistance, and over the last couple of weeks the price has basically traded sideways, of course we're still technically within the much larger bullish trend here on the larger timeframes like the weekly Bitcoin chart, obviously forming significant higher lows and higher highs. And so once again, even if we see some sort of rejection or consolidation, anything like that in the short term around these levels of resistance, of course, that does not necessarily invalidate the much larger bullish trend. And as for next levels of resistance further to the upside on the weekly time frame, once we actually confirm a breakout above 38k, the next important resistance is sitting at around $42,000, and above that, we also have some important resistance at around 48 to 49,000. But once again, before we can start looking at some of these next levels of resistance, we first need to confirm a breakout above the resistance at around 38,000. But speaking of breakouts, taking a look at the 4-day Bitcoin chart, and obviously we have seen a major breakout to the upside from this bullish cup and handle pattern here on the 4-day Bitcoin chart. And now just recently, I have not really been talking about this pattern all that much just recently, but I did first talk about this pattern all the way back around here and also around the point of the breakout. But in case you're new to this channel, basically this cup and handle pattern is known as a bullish pattern, especially if we confirm a breakout, which obviously has already happened. And of course, that point of the breakout was sitting at around 31,000, basically based on all of these previous highs just here and also back here. And so already from the point of the breakout, breaking out above these previous highs at around 31,000 to where we are right now, we've already pumped around 20% to the upside. But considering how massive this pattern is, we're on the 4-day chart once again, looking at around 1 year worth of price action. And so obviously with a pattern this large, it's going to take quite some time to fully play out. And of course, it's going to set up a huge price target. And taking a look at that bullish price target for this active breakout that we're seeing right now, that sets up a technical price target at approximately 59 to 60,000. So very close to $60,000 per Bitcoin. But once again, considering how massive this pattern is, it's unlikely we're going to go there very soon. It's unlikely we're going to see $60,000 honestly anytime this year, considering we've only got around 1 month to go in 2023. But if this pattern and breakout remains active going into 2024, it's actually quite likely that at some point next year, at some point during 2024, we could end up seeing the price of Bitcoin return up towards around $60,000. And so from where we are right now to $60,000 or $59,000, that is more than a 50% gain to the upside, or from the point of the breakout, if you actually bought some Bitcoin or entered a trade at this breakout to that price target, in total, that's nearly a 90% move to the upside. But once again, it is important to understand that that move will not happen extremely quickly. Once again, it's likely going to flow into next year. And on top of that, it is extremely unlikely that we'll just go there in one straight line without seeing any pullbacks or corrections along the way, because obviously we still have some significant levels of resistance in between where we are right now and that price target. But basically here on the larger timeframes, when you're talking about the larger moves at play and the larger trend at play, I am still very bullish on the price of Bitcoin, as I've been saying almost every day since the very beginning of this year here on the larger trend. And now if you're zooming into the daily Bitcoin chart, of course, a couple of weeks ago, we did see that bearish divergence, which I talked about recently on the channel. But as I've also been saying over the last couple of weeks, it's unlikely we're going to see a significant pullback due to this bearish divergence. And instead, we're most likely going to see some choppy sideways price action, which is exactly what we saw. And the reason behind not really expecting a massive pullback here in the price of Bitcoin, at least in the short term right now, is due to the fact that the DXY or US dollar index is crashing. And I won't be going into too much detail about that in this video because I did that in recent videos here on the channel. But basically, if you're new to the channel, all you need to know is if the DXY, this red line right here, is dumping, is going to the downside, that is usually bullish for the price of Bitcoin. And that's that's basically exactly what we are seeing right now and what we have been seeing since around the very beginning of October. And so due to this, once again, it's unlikely we're going to see a significant correction or pullback in the price of Bitcoin while the DXY is dumping, which means I would not necessarily expect a 15 or 20% pullback or anything larger than that while the DXY is dumping. But obviously, we can still experience day-to-day volatility, which in the price of Bitcoin is usually 3 to 5% moves, sometimes even up to 10% moves in this day-to-day volatility, up or down. But once again, when it comes to the larger pullbacks, I would not necessarily expect that anytime soon while the DXY is like this. I would only begin to expect a larger pullback, like a 15 or 20% pullback, if we see a strong bullish reversal in the DXY, which as of right now has not yet happened. And so overall, in terms of the short-term bullish trend on the daily time frame, obviously we're still technically within the bullish trend, especially here on the 8-hour time frame. We can see the price of Bitcoin is clearly within an ascending parallel channel, forming higher lows and higher highs, which is obviously a trend pointing in the bullish direction. And as for support and resistance, we do have this line of support at around 36.1k approximately. We have the center line, which could act as a bit of support right now at around 37.4k, and we have this ascending line of resistance sitting at approximately 38.7k. And if you're zooming into the shorter term, looking at the 6-hour Bitcoin chart, we can see the price of Bitcoin is still running into this short-term area of resistance, sitting in between around 37.6k to around 38k. And so obviously we still need to confirm a breakout above 38k, ideally with at least daily candle closes, or even if we saw a weekly candle close above 38k, that would be better. And so until then, until we see some more confirmation, of course, we have not yet actually confirmed the breakout, which means it still technically remains a possibility. We could end up seeing short-term rejections from this resistance. But obviously, we still have this ascending line of support, which has acted as support multiple times in previous rejections from this resistance. And this line of support is currently, once again, sitting at around 36.1 to 36.2k approximately. And as for the technical price target for this ascending triangle pattern, if we actually confirm the breakout above that area of resistance, above around 38,000, then that sets up a technical price target at approximately $41,000. And so from the point of the breakout from 38k to that price target, that is roughly around an 8% move to the upside, which could come next for the price of Bitcoin if we first confirm a breakout above 38k, which as of right now has not yet happened. But if you want to prepare for this next major trade in the price of Bitcoin to maximize your profits, then make sure to have an account ready to go to trade this move over on Bybit or Bitflex, which I'll leave links to in the description down below and in the pinned comment. In fact, if you use the Bybit link down below this video to make a Bybit account, simply make a deposit and you can get up to a $30,000 deposit bonus just by using that link down below this video. But unfortunately, due to regulations around the world, there's some countries where you may not be able to access Bybit in, and so if that's the case, there is also Bitflex as an alternative crypto exchange similar to Bybit, but you don't need KYC for Bitflex. And in fact, if you use the link down below to make a Bitflex account, simply deposit $100 worth of crypto or more and make one trade over on Bitflex, that can get you a 10 USDT bonus, which you can actually withdraw. And so that's essentially a free 10% return on a $100 deposit. And so if you're going to trade crypto anyway, or prepare to trade crypto, you might as well check out those links down below for those extra bonuses. But anyway, getting into the Ethereum part of this video, this is on the weekly time frame, and right now the price of ETH is still running into this major area of resistance, sitting in between around $2,000 to $2,150. And so obviously $2,150 is still the level to break for the price of ETH. So on the weekly time frame, not much has really changed over the last one day. So if you're taking a look at the daily time frame, what we are seeing right now is, once again, the price is also running into this area of resistance, which here on the daily time frame is sitting in between around 2120 to 2150. And so once again, 2150 is definitely the level to break for the price of ETH in order to flip much more bullish again. And as I mentioned in my last video here on the channel, technically we do now have some more room to the upside compared to a couple of weeks ago here in the price oscillators. For example, the MACD has reset a little bit, but that is not as important as the RSI resetting, because of course a couple of weeks ago the RSI was overbought, meaning we have limited room to the upside in the short term. But over the last couple of weeks, obviously we have seen a slight pullback, a bit of a short-term cool-off, which has reset the RSI out of those overbought territories, now giving us more room to the upside. And so once again, like I said yesterday, this just goes to show why short-term pullbacks or corrections along the way, or even sideways consolidations, during a bullish trend is healthy because it resets the price oscillators, giving us more room to the upside and creating a more sustainable bullish trend. And as for support on the daily time frame, we have this level acting as a bit of support at around $19.90 to $2,000. We also have this level of support sitting at around 1.9k. And if you're zooming into the 8-hour ETH to US dollar chart, technically this previous hidden bullish divergence is still currently active, which I've been talking about since all the way back down here. And once again, it is still currently playing out as an active pattern. And if you're zooming into the 4-hour time frame, of course, we have this previous descending broadening wedge pattern, which did break out to the upside and has already hit the exact first price target, the initial price targets for the breakout. And in case you missed my recent videos here on the channel, once again, we did have a breakout long position right around here and an initial take profit at this first price target at around 21.30. And so far with this long position, I have now moved my stop loss just above my entry price so that in the worst case scenario, I do exit the trade slightly in profits, even if we dump right now. But once again, as I explained a few days ago, all the way back down here, I do have that initial price target at around 2,130, which I do plan to take a little bit of profits off the table from this exact leverage trade. And so already I have taken some profits from that trade at around 21.30, which is very close to this exact local high. But once again, I still have some of the trade open in case we do end up heading towards the second price target, which is sitting at around 22.60. And so from where we are right now to that second price target, that's still around an 8 to 9% move to the upside. Or if we break out above around 21.30 from that level, from that breakout level to that next price target, that is around a 6% move to the upside. And so once again, due to that, I have part of the trade remaining open, but I have already taken some profits from that trade around this first price target and moved my stop loss up to my entry price, just above my entry price. And once again, if you want to know where you can take trades like this with breakouts, with conditional orders, stop losses, take profits, and all of that, then personally I trade over on Bybit and also Bitflex, links down below. But if you want to know how you can profit from crypto no matter what direction the price is going, whether the price is bullish, bearish, or simply chopping around sideways as it is kind of right now, then make sure to watch these videos popping up right here on your screen. The video in the top left shows you how to make money if the price is bullish or bearish using AI, and the video in the bottom left shows you how you can easily profit from choppy sideways price action. But anyway, that is everything that I have to say for today. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.